Hey everybody, it's Dr. Nicole with Healing Hands and welcome back. So I have with me Pamira Besman. Hey Pamira!
Hi!
Anyway, so Pamira, I have a couple of questions for you, but in talking to people in the general public and even some patients that come into my office, they're watching mainstream media. And the feeling that I'm getting from certain people, not everybody, I would say even the majority not, but the feeling I'm getting from some of the people is that as they're like watching mainstream media, they have the impression or the belief that COVID-19 is a death sentence.
Mm.
And I'm confused about that. I want you to speak on this. And one of the reasons why I'm confused about it is because I've been following, as you guys know this, I've been following the numbers since, the end of February, March, when everything started happening, and I'm on the CDC website like multiple hours over the weekend, like looking at these numbers and analyzing data. You guys know I'm a science geek. But, so, and as I'm pulling this up, I pulled up this really fascinating graph. Nobody on social media, nobody on mainstream media is talking about this, but I'm going to try to connect a link for you guys out there to be able to see this. But essentially what the graph shows is that it starts a timeline from February 1st, 2020, all the way to now, October 10th. I think it goes to October 10th, 2020. And if you pull up one of the graph on the CDC and you pull up overall deaths, total deaths in the U.S., what you see is that from February to March, you have your total deaths in the U.S. It peaks a little bit from March and April, but all the way back from May, the number of total deaths in the U.S. have flattened out, have come back down.
Right.
So like the total number of deaths since May were the same as what they were previous to March. And yet we're still in lockdown. And yet people think that if they get COVID, it's a total death sentence, like that they're gonna die. So can you speak to that?
Yes, it's very unfortunate, but it's all about fear. So the fear has taken people outside of their thinking minds. And normal people, educated people who would normally go back to a place of normality are stuck in that zone of inability to go back to normality because of the constant fear-mongering in mainstream media. And I want everyone to understand that this is a deliberate situation, which is very sad, but we have to recognize it to be able to get out of it. Because all the data from around the world and all the data from the United States, from even the organizations that we have a lot of doubts about, like the CDC, isn't always guiding us in the right way.
Right.
They could have helped us get out of this situation much sooner, much smoother.
Right.
They've made a lot of mistakes, but even the CDC, if you look at their actual data. The data is there. The deaths have flattened a long time ago. And in New Jersey now, Governor Murphy said, flattening is not enough. Now deaths must go to zero. Now immortality is the new golden standard. We cannot meet this golden standard. Immortality shall not be accomplished. People have to die. People have to be born. People have to be people. This is a normal life cycle. Yes. And unfortunately, COVID-19 has now become this crazy thing that we must all fear. And if you don't fear it, then you must be banished from society because you want everybody else to die.
Right.
We have to change this mindset.
Yeah. There's a lot of bullying going on, right? There's a lot of like shaming. And people are calling it shaming on social media.
Right.
I'm seeing that term.
Right.
But
and even this fear became virtue signaling. I'm going to wear my fear as a virtue. If you don't have the fear, then you want everybody else to die. No, I have an immune system. I'm working on it. I'm building it. I'm taking my vitamins, my sunshine. I'm spending my time with loved ones, hugging, kissing, being human, lifting my spirit up, lifting my body up. And I don't have a reason to be afraid of COVID. And statistics tell me that I don't have a reason to be afraid of COVID. Now, there are certain people who are in higher risk, and those people with higher risk need to recognize where they are in their cycle and why are they high risk to begin with. Let's go back to that point.
Nobody's asking that question.
When you look at the overall deaths in the United States, we went into COVID with the worst health bill in the world. We're the worst developed nation in the world in terms of all the comorbidities. Who is talking about this? We had 6 months for all the people with these comorbidities, heart situations, diabetes, obesity, these comorbidities. We could have done something to help these people get healthier, build up their immunity in beautiful, natural ways that they not only need to be now less afraid of COVID, but less afraid of a lot of other things too. Because if it's not COVID, it's going to be the flu that takes you down.
Right.
Or it's going to be a cough or bronchitis or pneumonia can take you down or any other infection. If you have an average of 2.6 comorbidities, in 94% of the people that have died, that says something about comorbidities.
Right.
We need to go back to the source and look at how do we make ourselves healthier and take away the fear and go to a place of education and intellect and smart decision making, as opposed to just blind fear just because someone told us to be afraid. Let's get out of that.
Yes, so we need to start really looking at the real numbers and not just the headlines.
Yes.
Because that's a fascinating thing that I found is, sometimes the headline will say, increased deaths from COVID, and I'm a scientist, I'm a, pre-med biology major, so I go down and I actually look at the data and I'm like, well, that's not what that's what the numbers are saying. So something, did I get hit in the head, or am I losing it, or what's happening here?
Even the articles, right? You read the article, the headline says, Sweden is now regretting what it has done. And then I'm reading the actual, the actual interviews. I'm looking at the actual historic records of what the chief scientist said, what the head of the Department of Health said, what the prime minister said. They are not regretful at all. They're very proud of what they did, and it worked for them.
It worked for them. Yes.
So we have to go beyond what the what the pill is that they're dealing to us, and then read and think for ourselves.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I think on some future videos, we're going to touch on some of this stuff. So we'll get down to the nitty gritty.
Yes.
You ready?
Excited.
Okay. All right, guys. Any questions, as always,